Good evening. I'd like to welcome members to the annual council meeting. Can I ask members, when speaking, to speak directly into the microphone? This will enable members and members of the public to hear. Can I remind members and members of the public to place their mobile phones to silent and to stand where possible when speaking? Can I also remind those members who wish to speak this evening to keep their hands up until acknowledged by the Chief Executive? To remind members, the meeting is being live streamed and we welcome the members of the public in the gallery watching and listening to the council meeting tonight. I'd like to remind all members of the council's adopted code of conduct for councillors, which you agreed to and are expected to adhere to. Can I ask Father Anthony Cho to say a few words, please?
So we begin this meeting with
Item 1, apologies for absence. Please note the apologies received on page 1 of the order paper. Are there any further apologies for absence? Councillor Coxall?
Madam Mayor, Councillor James Howden.
Thank you. Item 2, I move that the minutes of the meeting of February the 26th, 2025, set out in the agenda on pages 9 to 28, be approved as a correct record. Is that seconded? Thank you. Is any member in disagreement with the accuracy of the minutes? Thank you. These minutes are approved. Item 3, to elect the mayor for the municipal year 2025 to 26. Before we do that, I'd just like to take the opportunity to say a few words. I'll try and keep them brief. But I'd like to thank the Chamber for having given me the opportunity to represent Thurrock as its 50th mayor. It's been an absolute honour to serve Thurrock as its first citizen and mayor. I'm proud to be a resident of Thurrock and have done my best to let others know just how good we are. I've always had the belief that the world is full of far more good people than not, and my year as mayor has reinforced that view. I've had the privilege to meet dozens and dozens of residents who work tirelessly for the good of the community as volunteers and helpers in an unending array of organisations. They don't look for thanks or even recognition, but merely work to make the lives of others better, and in so doing make Thurrock a better place. They demonstrate caring, tolerance and understanding, values which play so great a part in our nation's democracy. Being mayor has given me the opportunity to promote Thurrock across the borough and beyond. I've visited schools, sheltered housing complexes, I've attended civic functions and carol services, I've turned on Christmas lights, presented awards and prizes, I've joined events with the Royal British Legion, the Air and Sea Cadets, St Luke's Hospice, the Jack Petchey Foundation and the Thameside Theatre and Museum, the Port of Tilbury and so many, many more. I've shared the history of Thurrock with people that I've met, and I persuaded a neighbouring mayor to visit Tilbury Fort, and whilst at the Royal Garden Party, I was able to give details of the Purfleet Heritage Centre to a fellow guest. I've had numerous groups into the parlour for celebrations of their organisations, school visits and the mayoral roll of honour. This has been an especially significant year as the 80th anniversaries of D-Day, the liberation of Auschwitz and VE Day all came falling during my term. I've also had the privilege of working with the Nepalese community and unveiling the Gurkha Memorial at Purfleet. I've been able to attend an incredible variety of events, from throwing plastic axes in a field with Sea Scouts to attending a civic service at Chelmsford Cathedral. I've had well thought out questions and meaningful questions from school children, such as, when was Thurrock's first mayor appointed? Are the chains heavy? How do you become mayor? And after telling a group of children that I'd opened the new Aveley football pitch, a Year 5 pupil asked if, when my term as mayor comes to an end, did I think I would want to become a footballer? I think my answer disappointed him. I've been delighted to work to support Thurrock Food Bank. It's shocking that in our country there is a need for food banks, but there is, and Thurrock Food Bank do sterling work reaching every part of the borough. I'd like to thank the staff and volunteers who work tirelessly to help people when they need it, and to thank you and the businesses and venues that have supported the Mayor's charity. As we are about to welcome our new Mayor, there are several people I would like to thank for their help and support this year. I'd like to thank Councillor Lydiard, my consort for the year, my Deputy Mayor, Councillor Shinnock, my chaplain, Father Anthony Cho, the Mayor's office, those hard-working officers who so often go above and beyond their jobs in so many, many areas of the council's work. I'd like to also thank my fantastic mace bearer, able cadet Alicia Pale. I'd also like to thank Dr. Smith for keeping an eagle eye on members wanting to speak during full council. And to every member, every person who supported the mayoral charity and attended fundraising events. Some of you are here today. Lastly, I would like to wish, once elected, our new mayor and deputy mayor every success in the coming year. Thank you. Thank you. May I have a nomination for the election of mayor for the next municipal year? Councillor Kent.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased to nominate Councillor Sue Shinnock.
Thank you. May I have a seconder? Councillor Worrell.
I'd like to second that nomination, please, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Are all members in agreement that Councillor Shinnock be appointed as mayor for 2025 to 26? I've heard someone say no, so I think we need to take it to a vote. Is that right? Okay, can I ask a show of hands for those in favour of Councillor Shinnock becoming mayor? Please keep your hands so they can be counted. Thank you. Oh, so. Thank you. Those against? Thank you. Are there any abstentions? Thank you. So, Councillor Shinnock is duly elected mayor for the next year. This is where I have to go. Councillor Shinnock, could you come forward to sign the Book of Acceptance, please? Have I got to go down? Yeah, and then come back.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow councillors and residents of the borough. It's a great honour for me to be made Mayor of Thurrock tonight. I would like to thank everybody for giving me a second chance of being Mayor. The last time I was Mayor was quite a horrendous time, with no Mayor's parlour and no Mayor's chamber to hold meetings. But I got through. I would just like to thank Karen for all her hard work over the past year and for raising money for Thurrock Food Bank. I would like to announce my consort for the following year, which is Councillor Gary Watson, if you'd like to come down. Oh, not yet. Sorry, I'm going a bit ahead of myself. My charity for the forthcoming year is a local charity based in Alsip. The MCA Trust provides support for children and teenagers with cancer. My mayoral chaplain will be the Reverend Kate Carter. Thank you. I would now like to start the presentations this evening. Could Councillor Raper to come, can I ask Councillor Raper to come forward to receive her past Mayor's badge? Could I ask Councillor Lydiard to come forward to receive his past Mayor's badge, please? Would any member like to speak? To elect... Oh, sorry. Councillor Cox, I didn't see you there.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to congratulate you to returning to the office. I know your last time serving as Mayor was not perhaps the most ideal scenario for you to serve in, with no chamber and no parlour to actually entertain. And I know that seeing the parlour in work it's a fantastic thing you can do. You can get out, see charities, bring people in. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in your mayoral year enjoy what you couldn't get last time. I'd just like to say to Councillor Raper, congratulations. You brought goodwill, great good-heartedness. You brought vibrancy to the mayoralty in your term. We brought school kids in. You had a number of events. So your annual dinner was fantastically attended. You were a fantastic ambassador for this borough. And I'm really pleased that you've managed to get through your year in one piece. And I look forward to seeing you return to the chamber.
Councillor Kent.
Yeah, again, Madam Mayor, first of all, congratulations on reassuming the role of Mayor. You become, I think, only the third person, a very small band that have been elected twice to be Mayor of the Borough. The first, Pat Rice, 1976, 77, and then again in 1993, 94. Sid Josling, 1983, 84, and 96, 97. Terry Piccolo, of course, served for 2 years due to COVID. You took over from Terry in what we all acknowledge were really, really difficult times. So I'm genuinely pleased for you that you're going to get the second chance to actually preside over a council meeting in a chamber, to have a mayor's parlour, to have a proper civic dinner, and to do all those things that you'd want to do as a mayor. And actually, you've got a really tough act to follow because Karen and it's taken us all some years to learn how to pronounce Karen. Karen has done a fantastic job as our first citizen, and she's carried out those 3 roles immaculately. This chamber can be difficult to control, but Karen has done it with diplomacy, with humour, and with good grace, and I thank her for that. She has been a fantastic advocate for the council, in the community, and an incredible ambassador for Thurrock when she's further afield across the south of England. So she's going to be a really tough act to follow. And I say to Karen, as I think we all do, thank you for your year of service. You've done incredibly well. It's time to sit back, to put your feet up, and to reflect on a job well done. Karen, thank you.
Councillor Spate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to take this opportunity just to kill about 4 birds with 1 stone, because we don't get a chance to speak much tonight. But firstly, my congratulations to yourself, and I am really pleased that you will get the opportunity to have a proper year. After your stalwart efforts in the first tenure, and I was there along some of the things that you went to, it was incredibly difficult. It really was. You thoroughly deserve your second shot. And I say thank you and well done to Councillor Raper for a great year of service. I've attended many functions where she has been present, and she is always well researched and interested in what is happening. She's represented the council as our first citizen with dignity and pride, and has been a strong advocate and a successful fundraiser for her charity. And in this chamber, she has done an excellent job keeping us all in order. And as her predecessor would tell you, not least about me, that is no easy task. I'd also like to talk briefly for a second about Councillor Kent, who is standing down. John and I go back a couple of decades now, more than 20 years of family friendship, and therefore it becomes difficult to separate council and familiarity. He and I differ on many, many things, not least the merits of a Rioja against a Bergerac. The communality we have is that we're capable of sitting down and discussing things rationally and agreeing to disagree and moving on where required, which is the ethos of a good council, I think. The things we actually talk about most are solving cryptic crosswords, county cricket and British comedy, and particularly old British radio. I'd say he's a bit old before his time. It'll be no surprise that over those 20 years we've discussed and tried to dissect the innuendos of Thurrock Council policies, and almost invariably we've come to an impasse and have differing opinions. But I would say his credibility and integrity are more than 100%. And I would also welcome Councillor Lynn Worrell, hopefully to be endorsed as our new council leader, and the authority moving forward under her direction. Change is inevitable, and I know Councillor Worrell will be a strong and vocal advocate for Thurrock residents. She is, after all, a local girl and proud of it, and no one will shout louder for Thurrock's future than her. And I'd just like to say to everybody who serves this council, well done.
Councillor Gary Byrne.
Madam Mayor, that's going to be the most difficult thing, not to stand up here and call you Sue, but it's another. So pleased to see you're back as your role as Mayor. Last time out was held in the now rescued Thameside Theatre, or in the college. You had an old black cloth draped across, the most unwelcoming. They couldn't have made it more unwelcoming for you. This time you've got a home, which is going to be great. I wish you all the best for the year. You're going to smash it. And sorry, ex-mayor, putting the food bank on the map is great. Thank you so much. Most people don't even know it's there and they've never heard of Spacious Place, so now everybody knows about it. So maybe you'll wake up our fellow councillors from the east of the borough and give it some recognition. Thank you very much.
(2026). May I have a nomination for the election of the Deputy Mayor for the next municipal year? Councillor Kent.
Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to nominate Councillor Steve Lydiard.
Thank you. Councillor Worrell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second that.
Are there any further nominations? I've had a second. Are all members in agreement that Councillor Lydiard be appointed Deputy Mayor for 2025 and 2026 municipal year. Sorry. Thank you. I will now move to... No, I don't need to vote. All in favour, councillor? I don't... Give me a second. All those in favour of Councillor Lydiard? All those against? Thank you. Any abstentions? No. Thank you. I declare Councillor Lydiard duly appointed as Deputy Mayor of Thurrock for the year 2025 and 26 municipal year. Would Councillor Lydiard please come forward and sign the book of acceptance?
Excellent.
Right, I will ask Deputy Mayor to announce who their consult will be. Obviously not.
I haven't any thoughts at the present moment, Madam Mayor.
Deputy Mayor, do you wish to say a few words? Oh, that was easy.
Other than I'm very happy to be your deputy.
Thank you. To elect the leader of the council for the 4-year term of office, may I have a nomination for election of the leader of the council? Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Lynn Worrell.
Thank you. May I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Are there any further nominations? No? Okay. All members in agreement with Councillor Worrell being appointed leader of the council?
Agreed.
No? Right. We will have to take it to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. All those against? Thank you. Any abstentions? Councillor Fair?
Just one.
One. I am pleased to invite Councillor Worrell to make a speech as leader.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. But before I make my own speech, could I ask that we suspend standing orders and allow Councillor Kent to speak as the outgoing leader of the council?
Everybody agree? Agreed? Yeah. Councillor Kent, would you like to make a speech?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I just congratulate Councillor Lydiard on reassuming the position of Deputy Mayor, one he's held before, as well as being consul on I don't know how many occasions. He's got enough past mayors, past deputy mayors, past consuls badges to open a stall in Gray's Market. Not that I would suggest that he would. Madam Mayor, can I just wholeheartedly congratulate Lynn on taking the reins as leader of the council? I know that Lynn will do a fantastic job. And I just want to reflect for a moment where we find ourselves. We are a council, as we all know, in statutory intervention. We have made real progress over the last year or so. We now have a corporate plan. We now have a better grip of things like risk management. We have a better performance framework. We have outstanding children's services. Our planning division has made serious progress as marked independently by the Planning Advisory Service. But we still have an incredibly long way to go. We are still failing to deliver on our best value duty, and our finances are still eye-wateringly difficult. We still have a debt of over £900 million. And to put that in context, in order to set a budget just a couple of months ago, we had to effectively borrow £72 million. That's £64 million merely to service the debt that we're carrying, and £8 million to enable us to deliver a basic level of public services. We have, over the next few years, to shed another £39 million, plus find the £8 million, which is still the deficit on our budget. We add into that local government reorganisation, where we have to take the 15 councils that currently exist in Essex down to a more manageable number, 3, 4, 5, not going to be drawn on what that number may be, and to deliver successful devolution to Essex. That is drawing down some of those powers that are currently exercised by Westminster or by government agencies to a locally elected figurehead guided by a combined authority. Madam Mayor, all of that and more, just the business as usual, the day-to-day stuff, is an incredible in-tray for anyone. And I wish Councillor Worrell every success with handling it. And I have to be honest, I think we all have to be honest with ourselves. For me, I was jaded, I was lacking in the enthusiasm and the single focus that's needed to successfully deal with the quantum of issues that we face here in Thurrock. I know that Lynn will be more focused than I was, will have a little more enthusiasm for it than I had, and she will find no stronger supporter anywhere than I will be as she makes a success of not only this year, but the next 3 years until Thurrock no longer exists. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, Councillor Wall, would you like to speak as leader?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to begin by thanking Councillor John Kemp. John, your experience and calm leadership, both in administration and in opposition, has helped steady this council through some of its most difficult times. Your dogged determination also helped to expose wrongdoing. You never gave up, no matter what obstacles were put in front of you. Your persistence paid off, and the truth came to light on how the finances of this council were being affected by poor decision-making from officers and poor governance from the previous administration. I remember when I was first elected in 2008, and after about 8 months, you called me into the office and encouraged me to speak in the chamber. It was a big thing for me, and I finally took the plunge. I found my voice and I asked a question. And some would say I've never shut up since. John, I want to thank you for your service as leader, and I look forward to working with you on my cabinet. I also want to thank the councillors who have left us, Councillor Jeffries and Councillor Polston, and I wish them the best for their future endeavours. We have 2 new councillors in the chamber this year, Councillor Benson and Councillor Cherry. As leader, I welcome you, and I hope that you will contribute positively to the council's work. I am proud to accept the role of Thurrock Council leader, and equally proud to be the first woman to do so in over 20 years. It is a personal milestone, but I hope it also sends a positive message, especially to young women across our borough. You belong in leadership too. When I was growing up in Tilbury, I never imagined that I would be standing here. But with purpose, hard work, and a belief in public service, here I am. As we enter a defining period with devolution, reorganisation shaping how we govern, I will lead with focus, transparency, honesty, and a clear commitment to putting residents at the heart of everything we do. That means clearer communication, stronger delivery, and genuine accountability. The progress we have made since intervention is real, but so are the challenges ahead. We are borrowing £72 million this year just to balance the books. And the latest Commissioner's report to government raised serious concerns about the behaviour of a small number of councillors, both in this chamber and beyond. That behaviour cannot be ignored. We owe it to our residents to do better and to remember that we are elected to serve them, not ourselves. My Cabinet and I will get straight to work identifying savings and improving services and driving the changes our residents rightly expect. As a collective of 49 councillors, we may not always agree, but we are here for the same reason, to serve Thurrock and all those who live or work here. This is our number one priority. Our residents' voices must be front and centre of everything we do. That is why we'll be hosting events for residents to meet the Cabinet and engage with us directly. We've already achieved great things like our outstanding Ofsted review, and I'm excited to build on that momentum with my new Cabinet. Together we'll make Thurrock the best it can be. This is a new chapter, and I am looking forward to the challenges ahead. I will finish just by saying, thank you for putting your trust in me. I promise I will not let you or the Thurrock residents down. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Item 6, declaration of interest. Are there any declarations of interest to be made? No? Announcement on behalf of the Mayor and the Leader of the Council. I would like us all to take a moment and remember the Thurrock's falling of World War II on page 5 of the agenda. March 1945, Twin Ronald, Cave Edward, Longshore Clarence, Raymond Ronald, Archer Ernest Albert, Wig Ronald, Ashdown John Harold, Robinson William, April 1945, Ashdown Stanley, Dwight Sydney, Harris John, Highlands Howard, Tyler John, May 1945, Humphreys Keith, Gent John. I will now invite the Leader to make any further announcements.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have two announcements tonight. The first one will be that I would like to announce my Cabinet and the areas that they will be responsible for. My portfolio will be transformation, strategic relationships, reputation and influence. Councillor Lee Watson will be my deputy and responsible for good growth. Councillor Valerie Morris-Crook will be finance and resources. Councillor Victoria Holloway, place and environment. Councillor Vicky Hartstein, children's services, education and community safety. Councillor John Kent, sustainability, arts, culture and heritage. Councillor Mark Hooper, health and wellbeing. Councillor Mark Hurrell, social housing. And Councillor Linda Heath, public health and constitutional affairs. My second announcement, Madam Mayor, given the ministerial statement made last week on Natis, it would be remiss of me not to make a comment in this chamber. It's my intention as Leader to maintain an open and transparent approach in addressing both opportunities and challenges this council faces. Natis, for those members who are not familiar with it, is a national public sector fraud investigatory service specialising in the investigation of misuse of COVID bounce-back loans. Natis investigates cases of the alleged misuse of loans and reports its findings to the Department of Business and Trade where a decision is made whether to pursue a prosecution through the courts. I recognise and celebrate the very good work that has been done by staff in the investigation of fraud, and I thank them for their hard work and dedication. I am grateful for the managers and staff who worked hard to improve the service since the Council first identified issues in 2023. Their achievements were reflected in a positive outcomes of external reviews for their work by Deloitte and the Public Sector Fraud Authority in 2024. Their hard work means the Insolvency Service is able to take over what has become an effective service. The service currently has 124 live cases with a total fraud value of over £50 million, which will hopefully be recovered back into the public purse in the future by the Insolvency Service. But despite the best efforts of our staff, I have to ask myself, why in 2018 this council involved itself in setting up and running a national fraud service without the management experience or the knowledge to do so? I can only conclude that it was with the same hubris exhibited in the council in so many of its failed ventures that have plunged this council into debt and organisational failure. The huge legacies of these failures continue to hold us back from making the sort of progress that I and my colleagues so want to make. I therefore agree with the government's decision to take the running of the service back in-house to the Insolvency Service. I sincerely hope the government will work with us productively in the transfer of the service and the 73 staff who currently work in that service. And then we can get on with running the council and meeting the needs of Thurrock residents. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Right, we'll move on to item 8. Committee structure and allocation of committee seats and appointments. The nomination for committees can be found on pages 3 to 13 in the booklet tabled in front of you. The nominations for chairs and vice chairs of committees can be found on pages 14 to 15 in the table booklet. The political balance has changed following the publication of our agenda, and a revised political balance plus updated figures for the report are tabled as a handout. As an amended committee structure is also proposed. I will take recommendations 2.1 and 2.2 before we move on to the votes for contested positions. I will ask the leader to move this report and proceed to the voting. If any other member wishes to comment on the nominations before we proceed, I will give them the opportunity to do so. Would the leader please introduce and move the report? This report is found on pages 29 to 54 of the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tonight we are asked to confirm the committee structure for the 25-26 municipal year, including the allocation of seats and nominations from political groups and appointments of chairs and vice chairs to the key committees. A significant change from last year is the introduction of a fourth overview and scrutiny committee, as set out on page 31 of your agenda. This is a positive development supported by group leaders, and it is intended to increase capacity for scrutiny, particularly in relation to our children's services. Strengthening the oversight in this area reflects our shared commitment across the Chamber to improving outcomes for children and families across the borough. These arrangements are vital to ensuring that the Council continues to function effectively, transparently, and in a way that best serves our communities. Madam Mayor, I would therefore recommend to the Chamber recommendations 2.1 to 2.6, which can be found on page 30 of your agenda tonight.
Thank you. Would any member like to speak on this report before I proceed to the voting? Each member will be get 4 minutes to speak. Councillor Spate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will be brief. I absolutely welcome the decision to add another committee into the scrutiny process. We had a look at it over the year. The workloads were overwhelming, I think, across all the committees, but particularly on the People Committee, where we were split asunder in all the things that we got to do. So it's a really welcome move. I'm really glad that the leadership have been brave and ignored the recommendation of the Centre for Governance and Scrutiny that we stay as we were. It's a really positive move in the right direction, and I wholeheartedly support the proposition put before us.
Okay. I will move onto the recommendations 2.1 and 2.2. 2.1 establish the committees set out in 4.2 and 4.4 for the 2025 and 26 municipal year, which includes the introduction of a fourth overview and scrutiny committee. 2.2, agree the terms of reference for the Children's Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee and the Adults and Health Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee at Appendix 4 for the inclusion in the Constitution. Are all members in agreement with these recommendations? Yeah. Thank you. I will now move to the contested chairs and vice chairs nominations. Where there are 3 nominations and a nominee fails to gain a clear majority of votes in the first round, the nominee with the lowest number of the votes will be removed. A further vote will then take place with the remaining 2 nominations. The nomination with the most votes will be Chair or Vice Chair. In accordance to the Council Procedure Rule 20.9, we will take the vote on these contested nominations. When asked to do so, please raise your hand. Firstly, the contested chair nominations for Chair of Place, Overview and Scrutiny Committee. All in favour? We'll go to the vote. Councillor Cherry. Right, thank you. All those in favour for Councillor Jones? I declare Councillor Jones. Sorry. Any abstentions? No. No. I declare Councillor Jones Chair of Place, Overview and Community Committee. Chair of Adult Health Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee. All those in favour of Councillor Benson? All those in favour for Councillor Spate? Thank you. All those in favour of Councillor Rigby? Councillor Rigby received the... Oh, sorry. Councillor Rigby declared... Is there any abstentions? Chair of Court... Oh, sorry. Yeah. I declare Councillor Rigby the chair. Yeah. Chair of Corporate Overview and Scrutiny Committee. All in favour of Councillor Anderson? Councillor, all those in favour of Councillor Ben Mainley? Right. Any abstentions? No. I declare Councillor Ben Mainley Chair of Children's Services. Oh, sorry, Chair of Corporate Overview and Scrutiny. I need a line. Okay. Chair of Children's Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee. All those in favour for Councillor Anderson? Thank you. Yeah. All those in favour of Councillor Holden? Any abstentions? No. Yeah, I declare Councillor Holden Chair of Overview and Scrutiny Children's Committee. Chair of Licensing Committee. Go to the vote again. All those in favour of Councillor Benson? Yeah. All those in favour of Councillor Raper? Thank you. Any abstentions? No. I declare Councillor Raper Chair of the Licensing Committee. Chair of the Planning Committee. Go to the vote again. All those in favour of Councillor Cherry? All those in favour of Councillor Fletcher? Any abstentions? No. I declare Councillor Fletcher Chair of the Planning Committee. Are all members in agreement with the uncontested nominations, Chair and Vice Chair, as detailed in the table booklet? I will now proceed. I will now proceed to the remaining recommendations. The allocation of seats as set out in the revised Appendix 1 to be approved. The nominations of political groups to seats on committees be approved as set out in Appendix 2. 5. The non-voting cooperative members of the Planning Committee, the Standards Committee, the Audit Committee, the Adults and Health Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee, the Place Overview and Scrutiny Committee, the Children's Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and the Corporate Parenting Committee be appointed as set out in Appendix 2. The chairs and vice chairs of the committees be appointed as set out in Appendix 3 and voted upon tonight. I do members approve and note the recommendations. Agree. Thank you. The schedule of meetings 2025 to 2026. The report can be found on pages 55 to 72 of the agenda. Would the leader please introduce and move the report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In accordance with our constitution, it is a requirement that the council agrees the schedule of meetings at the start of the municipal year. This includes meetings of full council, cabinet and all established committees. Agreeing this calendar ensures clarity, consistency and transparency in how we conduct council business. It also supports good governance by giving members, officers and residents clear public notice when key decisions and discussions will be taking place. The new calendar not only reflects the new committee structure, but we've worked hard to avoid clashes and have included designated spaces for cabinet briefings and community events. The member training sessions will ensure that every councillor has the opportunity to take part in training and to give them the essential skills to take part in committees and hold this administration and officers to account. I hope colleagues will support the proposed schedule of meetings and recommendations 2.1 and 2.2 on page 55 of tonight's agenda. Thank you, Madam.
Councillor Coxall, do you wish to speak? You have 4 minutes to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just 2 points just like to raise, and myself and Councillor Wall spoke about this earlier this week, and I think it's really important, something my group have been banging on for quite a while, bringing LGR to discussion in this chamber to allow members to have a real proper debate, get their teeth into it. I would really ask if we actually look at adding on in the July full council an item on the agenda to enable a debate for the full chamber to get involved with. This is a monumentous change to how we're going to look across Essex, and I think it's only right that members in Thurrock, all members, irrelevant whether or not you're a member of the working group or if you're on the ONSs, get a chance to have their say and have a proper informed debate on the matter. At least that then gives the whole chamber, the public, the cabinet, a chance to see how councillors feel, and I think it's really important. So if that can be done, I'm very thankful for that. I think just mindful, and I appreciate it was a last minute thing that I saw. We've tabled an April full council in for at the end of the year. Obviously, normally I don't remember a full council. If we've got elections, we have a full council in the April. I think that's just very mindful of what that may happen. The last I think I recall was 2013. I think we haven't done it in a very long while. So I obviously don't want to reduce any more the number of council meetings. I think it's just perhaps move that back into March. I think that is a very reasonable thing. I think the point for being that if it happened this year, I would have liked to see it happen this year because we went from February with budget. We didn't have a full council in April. And then we had by-elections, but I'm just very mindful if we have elections next year, that's all the chamber is up. I just don't think it's probably appropriate to do that 2 weeks before election day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coxall. Councillor Spade, do you wish to speak? You have 4 minutes. Councillor Anderson, do you wish to speak? No? To sum up, you have 2 minutes to speak.
Thank you. I've just been alerted that we've missed the Fire, Police and Crime Commissioner panel on the voting. The fire panel. Is it later? Oh, okay. Okay, it's later. Okay. Sorry, I will go to summing up then. Somebody whispered that we've not done that. So absolutely, we've had a long discussion about the way that we need to make sure that not only this chamber, gets to debate LGR and devolution, but the residents. And I hope that the more that we can do, to stimulate conversations in this chamber, the more that residents will feel that they're empowered to come in here and ask questions, whether it's here or at Cabinet, or attend the many meetings that we're going to be putting on. I fully intend to make sure that we go out and consult with our residents as much as possible, because although we are 49 and we are elected to represent our residents, I like to go out and hear their voices myself. So officers and myself will be looking at a range of consultation events, but we will be absolutely, it's going to corporate ONS. I think it's well built into the work plan of corporate, and I'm sure that Councillor Maney he will stay on top of that and making sure that, he holds us and officers to account and brings in anybody that he needs to give us advice to make sure that when we go forward, we really do put Thurrock at the heart and we get the best deal for Thurrock and our residents in LGR and devolution. And just to pick up on next April's meeting, we'll certainly look at that, but it's easy to take it out if need be, so it's harder to put it in. So let's have it printed and take it out if necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Oral. I will now move to the recommendations that the calendar of meetings for 2025 to 26 be approved. That the theme council meeting to debate the devolution of local government reform and gender be approved. Do members approve the recommendations? Agreed. Thank you. Item 10. Appointments to outside bodies, statutory and other panels. I would like to inform members that nominations of group leaders and undergroup members to outside bodies statutory, and other panels have been received. The nominations to these can be found on pages 16 to 21 in the booklet tabled in front of you. I propose to ask the leader to move this report and proceed to the voting. If any other members wish to comment on the nominations before we proceed, I will give them the opportunity to do so. Would the leader please introduce and move the report? This report can be found on pages 73 to 78 of the agenda. Before I move to the sorry.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. You're rushing ahead there. Before we move into this next item of business, I want to start by thanking all the political groups for their constructive engagement in the nomination process. My sincere thanks go to our political assistants, which I can see sitting at the back of the room tonight, and Democratic Services team for the hard work and coordination that has taken place behind the scenes. Your efforts have been instrumental in getting us to this point in a timely and efficient manner, and it's greatly appreciated. This report asks the Council to consider the nominations made by group leaders to outside bodies, statutory and other panels, with appointments that are made by full Council. It is important that we continue to nominate representatives to these bodies and ensure that the Council's interests and those of the wider community are properly represented. For the 25-26 year, the list of outside bodies has been reviewed and refreshed to ensure that all appointments remain relevant and beneficial either to the Council directly or to our residents more broadly. Madam Mayor, I recommend the report and the recommendations on page 74 of tonight's agenda.
Before we move to the contested seat, does any member wish to speak? Councillor Spate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of things relative to appointments. On honours and awards, I'd be grateful if you could nominate Councillor Massey, please. It's my fault. I should have mentioned it when we had our meeting earlier. And in terms of the appointment to the Essex Partnership University Trust, EPUT, I will be resigning with immediate effect from that appointment. I think it's important that somebody with a bit more weight sits on that. You've got time to make a decision. There was a board meeting today which I attended. The next one will be in September.
Councillor Spate. There is one contested appointment. In accordance with the Council procedure, Rule 20.9, we will take a vote on this contested nomination. When asked to do so, please raise your hand. Essex Police, Fire and Crime Panel. All in favour of Councillor Hartstein? All those in favour of Councillor Cherry? Yeah. Any abstentions? No? Thank you. I declare Councillor Hartstein onto the police, fire and crime panel. A number of vacant positions on outside bodies at present. Are there any further nominations to these vacancies?
Madam Mayor, thank you. In light of, obviously, Councillor Spate's resignation from the EPUT governing body, I'd like to nominate Councillor Lizzie Rigby.
Thank you. Are all members in agreement? Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Agreement with the contested nominations to outside bodies and statutory and other panels as designed and tabled in the booklet. I will now move to recommendation that the nominations to outside bodies and the statutory and other panels be approved. Do all members approve the recommendations? Approved? Yeah. Item 11. Independent referendum report panel. The report can be found on pages 79 to 98 of the agenda. Would the leader please introduce the report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report provides feedback from Thurrock's independent remuneration panel, following a review commissioned by the Chamber. This report revises the allowances for chairs and vice chairs positions of overview and scrutiny, standards and audit committees in light of the structural changes made last year. I'd also like to take this opportunity to announce the introduction of Deputy Cabinet Member roles, an approach widely used by other councils to strengthen Cabinet capacity and support succession planning. Deputy Cabinet members will work closely with portfolio holders, advising and supporting them on key priorities. While they will not have voting rights or decision-making powers, they will play a meaningful role in driving forward specific areas of work. These roles will provide the non-executive councillors with valuable development opportunities and bring additional expertise and lived experience into the Cabinet's work. Given the level of commitment expected, it is my view that these roles should attract a special responsibility allowance. I will ask officers to develop a draft role profile in consultation with me and refer this to the independent remuneration panel for their consideration. A report will come back to full council in July for a decision. With immediate effect, I will be appointing Councillor Manwa to support Councillor Hartstein in children's equalities and diversity, domestic abuse and violence against women and girls. Councillor Green to support Councillor Lee Watson on good growth agenda and economic development. I believe these appointments will bring additional strength and depth to our leadership and reflect best practice in local government. The recommendations can be found on page 80 of the agenda. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Coxall, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No, in terms of the report for committees, I think it's very reasonable considering the level of scale and what we expect of chairs of committees, vice chairs of committees to actually manage their thing. They do need an allowance to do that. There is a significant amount of work, and we do have to respect that role. I think in terms of, I'd be interested to see, because I was a bit worried when Councillor Wall, when you announced, I didn't see any papers tabled tonight, so I would like to see, as we come forward to the trial, and actually some papers and what the officers come forward with, and actually have so this chamber can actually have a discussion about what it would like to do and give its view. I think it's just, I'm very mindful, I know Essex have done it very widely for deputy cabinet members. I remember my portfolio itself was extremely very large, and it would have been helpful, but I think it's important this chamber gets to have the report, see it, and actually see what the officers and what the recommendations are and what options we have to decide to see where we can go.
Thank you. Councillor Spate, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, possibly in the same tone as Councillor Coxall just said. I'm a little bit disappointed that we had no foresight of this and were not engaged in any sort of discussion, which is what we've talked about, how we're going to take this council forward. However, I recognise the amount of work that has to be done, and therefore, and I've just spoken briefly to colleagues, we will support it, but I'm disappointed that we didn't get foresight of it.
Councillor Anderson, would you wish to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to echo the sentiment of Councillor Coxall, obviously we're not voting on the allowances for additional cabinet members tonight. I understand as well, although I've never been in cabinet, it's a big role, and so for that exploratory work to take place, all fine with that, and we look forward to the report in July.
Would any member wish to speak on this report? Each member gets 4 minutes to speak. Okay. Would the leader like to sum up? You have 2 minutes to speak.
Madam Mayor, I'll be very, very brief. And as I said, like, that report will come here. It probably wouldn't be right that it had come here tonight. You know, this is a ceremonial meeting, so it will come here July, which is the first opportunity for me to bring that. And I just think that it puts us on par with the other councils that are doing this great work. So I'm more than happy to do that. And yeah, special allowances wouldn't start tonight anyway, so there's no need to be thinking that people are getting allowances that have not been agreed in this chamber. Thank you.
I will now move to the report recommendations. 1. The Special Representative Allowance SRA for overview and scrutiny chairs continue at 100% of the basic allowance to be £9,595 annual. 2. The SRA for overview and scrutiny vice chairs continue at 25% of the basic allowance to be £2,399 per annum. 3. The SRA for audit committee chair continue at 75% of the basic allowance to be £7,196 per annum. 4. The SRA for the audit committee vice chair continue at 15% of the basic allowance to be £1,440 per annum. 5. The SRA for standards committee chair continue at 50% of the basic allowance to be £4,798 per annum. 6. The SRA for the Standards Committee Vice Chair continue at 10% of the basic allowance to be £960 per annum. 7. The co-opted members sitting on both the Standards Committee and Audit Committee and independent persons continue to receive an allowance of 20% of the basic allowance, which is £1,919 per annum. The monitoring officer must be delegated authority to make necessary changes to members' schedules of allowances to reflect the decisions made by the council. 9. All the above and existing allowances are subject to an agreed indication in line with staff salary increases. Do members approve the recommendations? Thank you. Item 12, Freedom of the Borough Report. The report can be found on pages 99 to 106 of the agenda. Would the leader please introduce the report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report sets out the case for conferring the highest civic honour this council can bestow on individuals, the freedom of the borough. I stand here proud to advise that we received 4 outstanding individual nominations: Margaret Whitbread, Fatima Whitbread, Jim Goodin and Mike Osler. This honour recognises their exceptional service, dedication and contribution to Thurrock and its communities. I'd also like to highlight that we now have an Honours and Awards panel made up of elected members which carefully considers all nominations and the impact each nominee has had on the borough. This ensures that the process is fair, inclusive and reflective of the values we all share. I'm sure members will join me in welcoming this opportunity to celebrate their achievements and lasting impact on our borough. The recommendation to confer the awards can be found on page 100 of your report.
Thank you. Councillor Coxall, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I really do welcome this. I'm really excited to see we can finally start giving some of our most worthy citizens in our borough for what they've given. Oh, okay. Giving them the highest honour we can award as a borough. And I think it's only right. Margaret, Fatima, Jim and Mike have all done fantastic things for this borough in various different ways. I don't want to go into some full comments about them tonight. I want to make sure we really enjoy the celebration of giving them their reward of freedom of the borough when we do get forward, hopefully when dates can be agreed, perhaps especially before the summer. I think it would be a fantastic way to celebrate, especially for Jim as he goes into his 100th year. I think this is a fantastic idea. Thurrock for too long we've given it out very rarely, and we've had a bit of a sudden spree because suddenly everyone realises we can do it. I think it's really important we do keep an eye on this. The Honours and Award Panel was a fantastic way of doing it. I think it's just making sure we do actually recognise. The Roll of Honour was a great thing to start, and I do hope, Madam Mayor, you continue with the Roll of Honour. But I think for those who make that extra step and do that exemplary extra work for civic life in Thurrock, especially before we start to wind down, I think it's only right that we do actually reward these people.
Thank you. Councillor Spoke, do you wish to speak?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just briefly, absolutely endorse this. In case anyone is a little bit confused, members may remember that in this chamber last year, we actually voted unanimously for the freedom of the borough for Maggie and Fatima, and there was a motion put forward and we did it. Unfortunately, Maggie's not been particularly well over the last 12 months. We think we set up 2 or 3 occasions when we were going to do it, and it didn't happen because of her ill health. So, God willing, she will be able to come along, and it'll be a very memorable evening. Like George, Jim Gooding is one of my absolute heroes. He's a man I'm proud to call my friend, as indeed is Mike Ostler, who sat there, who, if anybody was ever to have the tag Mr. Thurrock, then I suspect it would be Mike. An absolute gentleman, a scholar, and again, somebody I'm proud to know.
Thank you. Councillor Anderson, do you wish to speak?
Just say, Madam Mayor, for more than worthy recipients of this award, really look forward to the presentation of them.
Would any member like to speak on this report? Each member has 4 minutes to speak. Councillor Val Morris-Cook.
Thank you, and really just reiterating what other people have said, it is an absolute honour to be able to support these 4 very worthy, and absolutely, Neil, there was a motion where Maggie and Fatima were endorsed to be there, but I think it's been a long time coming for Jim and a long time coming for Mike, and you know, as everybody says, you know, I always look at Mike Ostler as the guru. Anything you want to know about anything historical about Thurrock, he is the man to do it. And you know, we do need to be mindful that he is one of the 3 remaining members of the Burma Far East Association, which those members that are older here in the chamber will remember were awarded freedom of the borough. So I do think it's absolutely fitting, and like Evers, I look forward to the ceremony, which hopefully is coming in the next couple of months. Thank you.
Would the leader like to sum up? You have 2 minutes to speak.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll keep it very, very brief. I look forward to celebrating this in the chamber, and I too am going to wait to share, you know, my memories of these people. Mike, you know, it's nice to see that Mike's come here tonight. There's lots and lots of praise that we could give Mike tonight, but let's all wait for the civic event that really is. As with Maggie, who was my PE teacher, so I've got some stories to tell about having Maggie Whitbread and Fatima training on our school field. But we do have a provisional date. It looks like it's going to be a busy night. The awards are planned to be on the 23rd of July, which is prior to the next full council meeting, which is also when we'll be discussing devolution, and we have a range of reports already tabled. So, but please put it in your diaries. Please try to attend, you know, and make sure that, you know, we can do our best, you know, to give these people the celebration that they deserve as our citizens. So thank you, Madam Mayor, and I recommend the report.
I will now move to the report recommendation. To confer the awards of Freedom of the Borough to Margaret Whitbread, to confirm the award of Freedom of the Borough to Fatima Whitbread, to confer the award of Freedom of the Borough to Jim Goodling, to confirm the award of Freedom of the Borough to Mike Osler, Do members approve the recommendations? Thank you. I've got one other thing to say. I did say that I've got my consul and I think he should come down and collect his chains, if that's at all possible tonight. Gary Watson? I think we skipped over that part. Okay. You'd like to come forward, Gary? Right. That concludes the business of the meeting this evening, and I now declare the meeting closed at 8:20, is it? Yeah. I would like to invite members and guests to join me for refreshments in committee rooms 1 and 2. Thank you.